Hey there, so you can turn your Linux VPS into a full Ubuntu desktop with just one command. So most of the VPS providers only give you a single line interface with no graphical user interface, no browsers like Google Chrome and stuff like that, meaning you can also not run browser-based extensions. But I've got a simple script that would change everything. Now, to show you an example of how useful this can be with respect to the nodes that we are running, I have, for instance, MetaMask installed on this Chrome extension. I also have Bless, which is a Chrome-based browser extension node that I'm also running. I'm also running NodePay, and I'm also running Dawn, all on this VPS, which I typically wouldn't have been able to do if I only had the CLI option. What I also have running is, for instance, HighVelo node, which is also running in the background. So you can see how useful this can be if you have access to a desktop on your VPS server. And the best part is that you can run both Ubuntu desktop and the command line interface at the same time without them conflicting with each other. But before I get into the video, I want to have a disclaimer that I'm no tech IT expert. I generated the script together with AI, and I've tested this on over 40 VPS servers and also through my community, and it works flawlessly. Now let's unlock a whole new level of flexibility for your VPS with this step-by-step guide. Now, with respect to the minimum VPS specification, I would recommend the 4 CPU core with about 4 GB of RAM and at least 200 GB of disk space. Although the application itself doesn't take that much space, the more resource that you have on the VPS, the smoother the operation would be. I actually went crazy and tested this on a 1 CPU core, 1 GB of RAM, and about 20 GB of disk space. This works as well, but you begin to see that the more applications that you run on the VPS, the more laggy the experience becomes, and that is why I would recommend to go a bit higher in terms of the VPS specification. I would also show you a trick on how to monitor the VPS resources to make sure that you are not overchoking your VPS server. If you are looking for a good VPS provider to be able to run something like this, I would recommend that you use Contabo because they have very reasonably priced VPS servers, which starts at around $4 a month, and you have a lot of resources to play with. So to get started, the first thing you're going to have to do, of course, is to log on onto your VPS server. If you do not know how to log on onto a VPS server or need a refresher on how to do so, I would link a video in the description section that would guide you through exactly how you can do this. Now, when you are logged on onto the VPS server, just put in this single command. I'm also going to put this command in the description section so that you would be able to use this without having to type this yourself. What this command does is that it just pulls the script from my GitHub repository, makes the script executable, and then just run the script. Now, when you paste in this command, that's basically all you need to do. Just press enter, and then the script is going to run. Now, at this point, before the script installs, you would have to read the disclaimer and accept that you want to proceed with the installation. If you want to proceed with the installation, just press Y. What I also want to add is that this even works more smoother with respect to the installation when you have a fresh VPS server. However, I've also tested this on other VPS servers that had other nodes running, and this works as well. Now, at this stage, all you have to do is to put in a username and a password that you would use to log on to the remote desktop. I would recommend having a username and password other than what you use to log on onto your VPS server. So here, I'm going to go with the username I am subscribed. And by so doing, hey, if you like the content that I'm producing, please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel so that I can proceed with quality content like this to you. After putting the username, just press enter, and then here put in the password that you want to use to log on. When you are typing the password, you wouldn't see this, but this is being recorded in the background. After typing the password, just press enter, and then you would have to retype the password to reconfirm what you typed in the earlier steps. After this, just press enter, and the installation is going to proceed. So what actually is happening now is that it's installing the Google Chrome browser extension so that you do not need to download this yourself. So the script has finished installation. As you can see here, it says you can now connect to the remote desktop application using the credentials such as your username and the password that you set during the installation. Now, at this stage, you are being asked if you'd like to keep the script that was run to install the Ubuntu desktop, or you would like to delete it. I would like to delete it because it just takes extra space on the VPS server. So I'll type Y for yes and press enter, and then the script was deleted. So now from the back end, we are done. We can now successfully log on onto the remote desktop. Now, to log on onto the remote desktop, there are several applications out there that you can use. One, for instance, the remote desktop connection application is already built in if you're using, for instance, a Windows operating system. There is another application that is also by Microsoft that is called Microsoft Remote Desktop. I personally like this application because it has a better UI. So you can decide to use whatever application that you want to use. if you're using a Mac operating system, the Microsoft Remote Desktop is also available on Mac that you can download for free from the App Store. I'm going to show you how you can connect either using the Remote Desktop Connection application or using the Microsoft Remote Desktop application. Both of them would basically do the same thing. One just has a better UI. So to log on using the Remote Desktop Connection, just put in the IP address of your VPS server here under computer, and then just click on connect. If this is the first time that you're connecting to the server, Microsoft would ask you if you are sure you want to connect to the server. In my case, I'm pretty sure that it is, so I'm just going to press Y, and then we are logged on to the front end of the Ubuntu Desktop. Now what you have to do here is to just put in the username that we typed when we were setting up the server, and then put in your password here. And after that, just press OK. And then voila, we are logged on onto the desktop application. Here I'm just going to put in my password again, and then you can see that we are successfully logged on onto the Ubuntu Desktop. That's how easy it is. I'm also going to show you another way that you can connect this using the Microsoft Remote Desktop application, which has a better UI for me than the Remote Desktop connection. And to do so, just open the Microsoft Remote Desktop application, click on Add, and then select PCs. And then here, just put in the IP address of your remote server. In the next stage, you can create a user account so that you do not need to type in the credentials each time you want to connect to the server. Now to do so, just press on plus and then put in the username. So for instance, in my case, it was I am subscribed. And then you can put in the password that we used when we were setting up the VPS server. And after that, click on save. And then down here under user account, you should see the new account that we created. Now after that, just give this PC a name that would also make you remember what the server is. I'll call it, in my case, YouTube tutorial, and after that just click on save. Now to connect to the server, just double click on the icon that you come here. I'm going to tell it not to ask me again because I'm pretty sure that is the right server, and I'm going to click on connect anyway. And then voila, you are connected to the VPS server. Like I said, you can either decide to use the Remote Desktop Connection application, or you can use a Microsoft Remote Desktop. Either way, it's going to work. I personally like the latter because I have a lot of VPS servers and it can save the credentials for me. Now to give you an example of what you can do with this remote desktop, I'm going to go to internet and I'm going to go to Google. Because it's the first time, I'm just going to make this as a default and press OK. If you want to sign in, you can decide to sign in, but I'm not going to sign in here. I'm going to turn this off, and as you can see, it really runs smoothly. You can do whatever you want to do just like you would do with any standard browser, and it's going to work just like you had, for instance, a Microsoft operating system installed on a VPS. You can also have access to all the Chrome extensions. So for instance, when you come down here to extensions, you come to the Visit Chrome Web Store, you can have all the extensions that you want to use, typically like MetaMask. You can have MetaMask on the Chrome extension. You can also have any browser based extension that you want to use, and everything, as you can see here, runs very smoothly. Additionally, if there is any application that you want to install that runs on Ubuntu, for instance, I can give you an example with the High Value Node. Here, for instance, if you come to download for High Value Node, you can install the High Value Node, which is currently for Linux operating system, and this would also work flawlessly. So this gives you a huge advantage to really maximize the resource that you have on your VPS server, running either the CLI in the backend or running the Ubuntu desktop. Another trick that I would like to give you is, like I said, to really monitor your VPS resources. Now you can run the command that is called htop by just typing htop and pressing enter. In this case, it's not installed. If you want to install it, just type install stop and then press enter. And after that, just run the application htop. Now what this gives you is that it gives you a very nice overview of the processes that are running on your VPS server. In my case, for instance, I'm doing this tutorial with a 6-core CPU VPS server. You can see that I do not have that much usage of the VPS server. About 0.7% of the first CPU core is used. A lot of them are still empty. So that means that I can actually run more applications on this VPS server. With respect to the RAM, you can see that I'm currently using 800 megabytes from my 16 gigabyte of RAM for the VPS server, which also means that I have a lot of resources that I can use to still maximize the VPS server. Now to leave this screen, you can just press Ctrl+C. And another tip that I'll give to you is to monitor the disk space that you have on the VPS server. Now to do so, you can just use the command df space -h and then just press enter, and this basically lets you see how much free space you have on your VPS server. In my case, I have a 400 gigabyte SSD with this VPS server, and as you can see, I've used just 2% of it, so I have a lot of space that I can still amplify and run multiple applications on this VPS server. So that is really how simple it is to run and get the Ubuntu desktop. But what if you do not want to use this anymore? What if you want to get rid of the Ubuntu server application? It's very easy. Also there, when I'm providing you a one-line script that would remove everything with respect to the remote desktop or the Ubuntu desktop that we installed. Now to do so, just put in this command here. It's the same thing. It's just going to pull the script that I have uninstall Ubuntu, make the script executable, and just run the script. Now when you paste this in here, just press enter, and then here's where you're going to have to read the disclaimer and press Y to accept this, and then press enter. And here as well, it's asking if we want to remove and delete the script that was downloaded to run them. I'm going to press Y to delete the file. And very important, I highly recommend that you reboot your VPS server. But if you do have very important applications on it that would allow you not to reboot it, just press N, and then this will bring you back to the command prompt. So that's how easy to get a desktop on your VPS server. If you do have any questions or encounter any difficulties, you can put this in the comment section, or you can also come to my Discord channel and we will be very happy to help you out. And with that, I say thanks for watching this video and see you in the next one. Bye.